think we're ready to get started here. Thank you for joining us in the Indianapolis Motor Speedway Media Center. We're joined by Jeff Gordon, driver of the number 88 Exalted Chevrolet SS this week, a 4-time NASCAR Sprint Cup Series champion and 5-time Brickyard 400 champion. Jeff's left, Hendrick, owner of Hendrick Motorsports, and a 9-time Brickyard 400 winner here. Let's go ahead and open it up with Jeff before we open up for questions. We have mics. Jeff, tell us how you're feeling getting back in the car this weekend.
Well, I certainly woke up feeling good when I saw Dale Jr.'s tweet, that he's seeing progress, and I texted him right away as soon as I saw that. So that's great news, great way to start the day. And, I'm certainly a little overwhelmed with everything that's happened over the last week, but most of all, I'm proud to be able to be here and help his team out. This is his team, and what we want most is to have him healthy and strong for the long term. And today was a great sign of things to come for him and for me. My goal is to come here and give this team the best effort that I can and get them the best result, and hopefully a good one.
All right, with that, let's go ahead and open it up for questions. Let's start over here with Claire and Holly. Susie, I know you have the mic.
Thank you. Claire B. Lang, Sirius XM NASCAR Radio. Jeff, I think there's no doubt that you can come here and win this race, that you won't forget how to drive here. But it's going to be so hot here, and you've been in the booth in the air conditioning. And, what about the conditioning of being in the car, at these extreme heats? And then, Rick, if you could also talk about how Dale is doing.
There's certainly a lot of preparation that goes into every race and every season as a driver and as a team. And all I can tell you is I've done everything I possibly can over the last 3 days to get ready for this race the best way that I can. We'll find out, what kind of conditioning that I'm in. I mean, there's certainly going to be challenges this weekend, but all of them, that I feel like I'm capable of doing. And Rick and the whole team has given me a lot of confidence in myself by choosing me, and asking me to do this. And I questioned Mr. H several times when he was asking me on the phone about this, and that confidence that they have in me, and then to go spend time with the team. Dale's got a great team. I mean, I'm so impressed with Greg Ives and everybody at the 88 team and everybody pitching in at Hendrick Motorsports, to get me comfortable, get me ready, and to have the confidence in me. There's going to be challenges. I mean, there's no doubt about it. Qualifying is the first thing that comes to my mind, even before the heat. To me, the qualifying, go lay down laps here to advance to second round, hopefully get the third round. Qualifying is very important here. To do that in a short period of time, in the amount of practice that we have today in the heat of the day is going to be tough. And as far as hydration and all those things, that's the most important thing for me, is just making sure that hydration-wise that get through the race in good shape. They've advanced a little bit since last year as far as cooling is concerned. So I actually have some air conditioning that actually cools things. So Jimmy Johnson's offered me his cool vest. So they know that I'm old and I'm not in the kind of shape that I was. But of any track that I can think of coming heat or no heat, and come and do a good job for this team, it's right here at Indianapolis.
Well, I think you saw the tweet this morning. Was it Wednesday when we saw him?
Yeah, Wednesday.
Yeah, Wednesday he came by the shop and we got to visit, and he looks good. He's encouraged. He's following the doctor's orders, and we're really excited. And so, he's great spirits. He wants to get back in the car. He wants to race, but he also knows that the regimen they have him on will get him right for a long time. And so he's following doctor's orders, but I can tell he's getting antsy, but he's going to do what they say. So he's doing well.
Holly Kane, NASCAR.com. Jeff, if you could maybe talk about the decision to come back. Were you not on vacation or on your way back from France when a lot of this was going on? And what was Ingrid's response when you said, I think I'm going to get back in the car? Maybe if you could just share a little bit about the details of the decision and the approach by Mr. H to have you do this.
If I could scroll through my phone and look at the text that I've gotten from Rick that say, call me, I can tell you that you sit down when you call him on those instances. It hasn't happened a lot, but the times that it has, it's usually something pretty big. I was in the south of France at that time. I was, I think, second day of our vacation. Ingrid and I had planned a vacation to go over there. And I get that text, and I looked at her and I said, oh boy, here we go. And so, I had no idea. And when Rick said to me, he said, are you coming to Indianapolis? And I said, yeah, I am. I'm coming on Saturday. He goes, well, you better bring your uniform. And I said, well, what are you talking about? And he said, and he started telling me, about what was going on. I was like, you're messing with me. I know you're messing with me. You're not telling, and I knew right away the seriousness after that he wasn't joking, that it was serious. And, I honestly, I didn't even have to think twice about it. When Rick calls, he has that confidence in me and asks me to step up, and do something for the organization, whether it was drive or other responsibilities. The way he's been there for me, the way this team and organization has been there for me over the years, I didn't anticipate this. This is certainly the last thing I thought was going to happen. But when I knew it was Indianapolis, I didn't think twice about it. That I felt like, if there's one place that I was capable of doing it, it would be here.
Bob, and then over here to Dustin, and then Michael.
Bob Pockris, ESPN. Jeff, what good does this do for you? You ended your career in such a kind of incredible fashion there at Homestead. What's in it for you? And
Yeah, I don't think I'm thinking of it that way, Bob. It's really just, looking at how my role and how I fit into Hendrick Motorsports and how it's played a role in my life over the years, and not just the partnership but the friendship that Rick and I have. He's never asked me for many things that I can contribute and help that weren't valid and weren't something that I was proud to be able to do. So really, this is just me helping out the organization, and I don't know. We'll see what happens on Sunday. If we're out there having fun and putting a good result together, I can tell you what's in it for me is to make that team proud and not let them down. And that's what I did as a race car driver, and it's what I do. With my kids, it's what I like to do in my involvement with Hendrick, and whether I'm in the booth or whatever I'm doing, I like to make people proud of the effort that I put into it. So, and I'm going to tell you, the last 2 days, I don't think I've ever put as much effort into preparing for a race and crammed in all that I have in the last 2 days. So, that process itself has been really interesting and exciting and fun, and has got me pretty fired up, to get in the car and feel what it's like to be in there. I was at the GM simulator yesterday morning. If we were racing simulators, I feel like I got a shot at winning this race. It went really well, but just seeing the team and their attitude and their effort and willingness to put me in there and feel good about it, that's motivating.
Let's get over here to Dustin, come back to Michael, and then Jordan.
Dustin Long, NBC Sports. You just talked a little bit about, and you've alluded to, just about the cramming session the last couple of days. Can you kind of detail that a little bit more, what you've had to go through? Obviously, you're working with people that you've not worked directly with in the past and in such a close relationship. How much homework goes into this? I mean, what your days have been like. And also, I know this is for this week and next week, and depends on situations, but how long are you prepared to do this? Is this a 2-week run in your mind, or is it more open-ended than that?
Well, first, just walk you through a little bit so I got back from France on Tuesday. I landed in New York. Mr. Hendrick was kind enough to have a plane there waiting for me to bring me to Charlotte. I landed in Charlotte, drove straight to the shop, and spent the evening with the team. They had already put the seat in and the steering wheel, and had been working with, the 24 team that had access to all this, the seat and the liner. And luckily, we've archived and kept a lot of these things. So, really, this is basically my seat from Homestead, probably my steering wheel as well, and then. So I spent the evening, and it was really close. There was just a couple little minor tweaks, and I came back the next morning to the shop and started that process. I had to get a physical. I had to do all the NASCAR requirements to. I have an owner credential. I don't have a driver credential, so had to go through that process and spent the whole day there, with Greg Ives. The cool thing about Greg Ives is he reminded me that he worked for Robbie Loomis when Robbie was my crew chief, and he was telling some great stories about working with Robbie. And so I've known Greg for a long, long time. Always been impressed with him, but I've never had the opportunity to work with him. And I'm looking forward to working with him. I think he's a great crew chief, and they have a great race team. So, I spent a lot of time with him and his team and the engineers going over data from the tests that were here. So we have video. We have like GoPro video from inside the cars that I can watch. Jimmy Johnson, Chase Elliott, they both tested here, and all their data. And then it was not about 15, it was about 14, because 2015 we had that huge spoil, everything was different. But if you go back to 14, even though there's more power, the traces are more similar, which I kind of liked 14. It was a good year. So I was happy to see that. And then I took that information and went to the simulator the next morning in Huntersville and with GM, and they put those setups and that this aero package in the car, in the simulator, and I was able to drive it. And I'm anxious, I had been in the simulator last year, and I drove here, as a matter of fact, after a tire test that I did, and it was more of a verification, try to get the simulator continue to advance, and they've advanced a lot, because I thought that, and I'll be able to verify that today, that it was very close, much closer than in the past, of the braking points, turn-in points, car handling, all those types of things. So I'm hoping that really pays off for me.
How long are you prepared to do this?
Well, let's not speculate. I mean, right now it's through Pocono. We were very, very encouraged by Dale Jr.'s tweet, today, and comments and the way he's feeling, and hope that continues to progress, and that he's back as soon as possible, because he loved. The one thing I was encouraged by when I saw him on Wednesday is his passion for racing, how much he loves being in the car, and how much, like Rick said, he's getting antsy. He wants to get back in there. We just want him all, to be there when he's ready and when the doctors say he's ready. And so I'll do whatever I need to do. But I'm also thinking what's going to get the team the most points, and give them the best opportunity to to advance into the chase. You've got the two side, the owner and the driver side of there.
Let's go to Michael Knight and then back to Jordan, if we could.
Hi, Jeff. Michael Knight, Arizona Republic. First of all, had you and Mr. H discussed this possibility at all last season, or when the request was made, was it a complete surprise? Second of all, if this had been part of the Fox portion of the season, would you have been available to drive? And third, is there any opportunity during practice for you to practice pit in and out, starts and restarts?
You want to answer that first, the first part about me and you ever talking about it? I don't think we ever talked about it.
No, we never talked about it, because you gave me a helmet when you got out of the car, so I thought you were done.
I should have given you the seat and the steering wheel.
No, we never thought about needing him in a pinch like this, and never, we talked about all. No, we didn't.
What was the other part of your question?
Would you have been able to do this if it was during the Fox portion of the season?
Well, the crazy thing about all this, I was asked to drive Tony Stewart's car in Daytona to start the season out with his injuries and the incident that happened there. And no, I wasn't able to do it because of my commitments to Fox. Now, Rick has, some amazing ways to convince people into things that the average person might not be able to. So I don't know. Maybe he could have called Eric Shanks or something. But no, I don't think so. That's what, to me, when I think about this whole scenario, I mean, I'm driving in the track last night, just going, wow. The last 7 days have just been a whirlwind. And the fact that it's Indianapolis, I don't know. It's kind of hard for me to really wrap my brain around it right now.
Will you have any chance of practice pit in and out?
Oh yeah, what I'll do is pretty much every time I go out and make a run, I'll hit pit road hard, because that's the other thing is the digital dash. I've never run with the digital dash before. We didn't have it in the car last year. For me, some of the Hendrick cars did, but I did not, because we were wanting to stick with what we had all season long to go to Homestead. So that's new, and that's one of the things I've been playing around with while I was getting fitted in the car is the placement of all the gauges and things that are on the digital dash. So I've got to work on that pit road lighting system. They've worked out the bugs, so it's going to make it easier. So I'll hit pit road, do my downshifts and get down to pit road speed, carry pit road speed, and then when Greg is ready, he's going to tell me where I can come in and stop in a box, and just kind of get a feel for how the car stops. And the biggest thing is going to the 88 stall, not the 24 stall. 23 years I went to that 24 stall. So we've already talked about the processes of assuring that doesn't happen.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Jordan, and then John right next to him, please.
Jordan Bianchi, SB Nation. Jeff, talking about the 24 stall and everything, is it going to be a little weird climbing into a car without the 24? And after you readily agreed to fill in, was there a little bit of hesitation, afterwards, saying, do I really want to get myself into this again, or were you gung-ho?
Well, I mean, first of all, there's so many strange scenarios that play out in this situation. I mean, I'm going to be racing against the 24 car out there. I mean, none of us anticipated this happening. So you can't plan. You don't know how you're going to react to it. And to me, once I get behind the wheel and I'm inside the car, I don't know what's on the outside of that car. It's a race car. And I'm going to be focused on driving, not focused on anything else. But when I'm standing outside of it and I'm looking, at the 88 car and Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s name over the door, it's certainly a unique situation that I don't know how that's going to impact me. But mostly I'm just thinking about Dale Jr. and what he's going through and how tough this has been on him and this team, to have drivers getting in and out of the car. They want him back and we want him back. And, I'm just going to be focused on doing my job the best I can and hopefully walk away from this experience with them in a good place and where I can hold my head up high about the job that I did.
Let's do John and then Lee.
Thanks. I'm John Oryovitz with ESPN.com. Jeff, you spent the first half of the year in the media immersed in that. Does that give you a greater appreciation for how important special stories like this are, not just to the media, but for tracks like Indianapolis and Pocono and the fans and NASCAR itself?
Certainly. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're looking for big stories, because you know that when they come along, it creates a lot of buzz and interest and gives you a lot to talk about. So I'm sure the folks at NBC are going to have plenty to talk about here on Sunday. There's no doubt that I have a greater appreciation for that, but it's hard for me to think about that right now. I'm really just thinking more about what the job at hand is.
Lee Spencer, and then right behind you to Marty.
Lee Spencer, Motorsport.com. For Rick, given everything that you've been through in racing and personally how your life has revolved around racing, have you been able to offer any perspective to Junior as far as, kind of a one day at a time type of philosophy moving forward?
Yeah, a situation, Dale and I had talked earlier about, multiple years beyond next year. And after I was involved when he went to the doctor, and then the doctors really took over. And then it's been, I'm there, we text back and forth, and then I got to see him face to face. But I care about him as a friend and someone that means a lot to me, and I want him to be healthy and right when he gets in the car, and that's what the doctors are going to dictate that. But the news has been really good, and the tweet this morning was really good, and he looks good, he's sharp, and so I'm excited about him getting him back, and but I've just tried to leave him alone, and but then he will text me. I don't tweet, so he's got to text. He's got to text me. But really enjoyed spending time with him Wednesday, and he misses this. He misses his team. He came to see his team. He saw the guys, and it really lifted them. I think between Jeff agreeing to drive the car and Junior walking in the shop, the team's walking, really excited. I mean, those, Jeff's situation with our company, everybody there knows him, and when, some unknown person's going to get in the car or, clearly not any one of the talent that Jeff has here at Indy. And so that excites the team. But more than anything, when he walked in that building, it just lifted everybody up. So we're really excited. Everybody is there for Junior, and his health is number one priority. And but we feel good about where we are right now.
Let's go to Marty and then Nate.
Marty Smith, ESPN. Good morning, guys. For both of you, please. What are your impressions of the evolution of driver awareness of their personal health? I mean, there's the great stories, and we all champion, Ricky Rudd taped his eyeballs open. All that kind of stuff. That's gone. That's extinct. How has that evolved even during your career, Jeff? I mean, you had back issues. You wouldn't get out of the seat. So how hard is it for a driver to make that decision? And what does it say about Dale, both of you, that he made this decision himself to seek out the doctors and be proactive?
Yeah, I mean, I that's one of the things that immediately stood out to me was how proud I was of Dale, to seek out those doctors, to recognize, and he's somewhat been through something similar to this, in the past, and he set a great example then, and I think he's setting a great example now, because if he didn't seek out those doctors, then I don't know if he'd known exactly what was going on. And now he's much clearer on that, and I think it's going to benefit him long term, not just as a person, but as a race car driver as well. So very proud of him for doing that. That sets an amazing example to others. Every scenario is different. It's different when you're dealing with things that have to do with your brain, versus a finger, or an arm, or a foot, or whatever. I mean, I think every athlete and every race car driver drives with certain symptoms that they feel like they can manage, that are related to something, concussion-like symptoms, per se. And I think that whether it's back or an illness, you push through a lot of things, but there becomes that moment where okay, this is not something that is worth pushing, and you only hope that others moving forward will say, hey, Dale Jr. was able to make this decision, so can I.
You think they will, because he did?
I hope they will. I hope they will. I mean, I'd like to think that today, in today's world, that they would make that choice. I mean, you have to know your own body. So if you're recognizing things that are happening that aren't normal, that are affecting you in your day-to-day life or in the race car, you have to take some responsibility in this as well. And then you need to turn that over to the doctors to let them make the right decisions for you, because stepping into that doctor's office is the first step. The next step is paying attention to professionals that understand those kinds of conditions. And so I certainly would hope more, if they're dealing with things like that, would do that.
let's come up here to Nate, and that probably is going to be it.
Nate Ryan, NBC Sports. For Rick, you mentioned about the morale boost from having Jeff back and having Dale in the shop this week. It's been a rough stretch for your team. It seems like they're in a bit of a slump. How difficult is it to have all this going on where you're trying to catch the competition on the track? And do you know where you're behind? And can Jeff coming in, he gives great feedback, I know, can he maybe help evaluate where your team can improve?
Yeah, it seems like when it rains, it pours. We had, I think Daytona, we wrecked 3 or 4 cars, everything. And then we went to Kentucky, wrecked again. So, we were in good shape in New Hampshire, wrecked again. So, I've been doing this long enough that you can't stay on top forever. You have to work hard to get back. And I think we've made a lot of improvements. I think that we're going to see some, hopefully, this weekend. But you never like having a curveball. I mean, this is kind of one of the toughest things you have to go through is one of your star drivers can't drive. And so, the encouraging news is that everybody just stepped up and is working harder. I mean, we're determined to work in every area from the engine, the chassis, aero, everything. And the teams are excited. I mean, it's kind of our old refuse to lose belief. And but we didn't need this for sure, and we didn't need the wrecks we've gone through. I mean, our place looks like a salvage yard with all of the cars have been tore up. But that just makes us dig harder. So and I think Junior coming to the shop was a big lift. Jeff being here is a big lift, and I think hopefully we'll turn the corner here pretty quick.
If I may just add, to me, when Hendrick Motorsports was dominating this series, that highly motivates your competition, and they go to work. And sometimes you get torn down while you're getting your butt kicked, but you start to find a way to get yourself better than you were before and hopefully get yourself in position. And resources and the type of people that Hendrick Motorsports has, that's sort of what's happening to us right now, is that we're being highly motivated by other organizations and teams that are out there that are getting great results. But we're too good of an organization not to find a way to only make ourselves better and stronger and our cars faster to get back to that place.
Parting shot from Doug before we send you off for your 23rd Brickyard 400.
Yeah, Doug Bowles with the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. We started talking in February.
Yes, we did.
About something special this weekend, and you one-upped me, but...
I was planning on driving here on Sunday.
Jeff and I started talking in February, and John and Susie, and we've all been talking about Jeff driving the pace car here to be the first celebrity driver to actually drive the 500 and the 400, and we were on the verge of announcing it before your call came to him. So can we get a rain check on that?
Yes, absolutely, Doug. I owe you one for sure on that, and I would be honored to be able to do that. Thank you for considering me. And yeah, that was another part of this. I sent John Edwards a text and said, have you spoke to the Speedway? And he goes, yeah, we got an announcement getting ready to come out. And I said, you need to hold off on that announcement. So I apologize about that, Doug.
We'd much rather have you out racing here, but if you're not racing next year, I'd certainly love to have that conversation.
I do not anticipate coming back to the Brickyard unless I get a text from Rick Hendrick.
That's awesome.
All right.
Well, we're glad to have you.
Thank you.
With that, we wish you the best luck, Jeff and Rick, both in your 23rd Brickyard 400. Jeff will be the only driver, again, who has run in all of the Brickyard 400s. So
thank you.
Best of luck.